Welcome back to Garden Guru. One of the biggest misunderstandings about cottage gardens is that they are supposed to feel random. They are not. If you love the cottage garden look, but keep seeing people use the phrase to describe anything loose, messy, or overplanted, this video is for you. Let's get into it. A real cottage garden can feel soft, lush, romantic, and overflowing. But there is still design intention underneath it. And when that intention is missing, the result usually feels messy instead of charming. So in this video, I'm ranking the biggest mistakes people make when trying to create a cottage garden look, and more importantly, how to fix them. Because cottage garden style is not about making everything neat and formal, but it is also not about throwing plants together and hoping abundance does all the work. Number 7, treating it like random planting. This is where a lot of cottage garden confusion begins. People hear words like loose, natural, relaxed, overflowing, and informal, and they assume that means the planting should feel accidental. But that is not really what makes the style work. A cottage garden may look spontaneous, but the good ones usually are not random at all. They have a feeling of movement, softness, and abundance, but the planting still feels guided. The shapes still work together. The space still has a flow, and the overall effect still feels like someone made choices on purpose. When people treat cottage garden style like random planting, the result usually feels less romantic and more visually chaotic. It starts to look like a collection of plants instead of a real garden style. So this is the first big shift. A cottage garden should feel relaxed. It should not feel accidental. Number 6. Using too many one-off plants. This mistake shows up all the time in gardens that are trying to feel lush and full. A gardener finds one plant they like, then another, and before long the bed is full of individual choices that do not really repeat. That may sound harmless, but repetition is actually one of the things that helps cottage gardens work. Without repetition, the whole space can start to feel like a patchwork of one-offs. And that is where the line between charming abundance and visual clutter starts to break down. A real cottage garden usually still has repetition of some kind. That could be repeated flower forms, repeated drifts of a plant, repeated color families, repeated plant shapes showing up again and again. That repetition is part of what gives the garden rhythm. It is what helps abundance feel intentional instead of chaotic. So if a cottage-style garden feels messy, one of the first things to check is whether too many plants are showing up once and never again, because lush gardens still need pattern. Number 5, ignoring height layering. One reason cottage gardens can feel so rich and immersive is that they usually have layered height. You are not just looking at one flat plane of flowers. You are seeing lower plants, middle plants, taller flowering stems, maybe some shrubs, maybe something climbing, maybe one stronger vertical element working through the mix. That layered quality is a big part of what gives the style its depth and softness. But when people try to create a cottage garden look without thinking about height, the result can feel surprisingly flat, or the opposite, strangely jumbled. Maybe everything is the same height. Maybe the tall plants are all in awkward places. Maybe the shorter plants disappear completely. Maybe the whole thing just feels like a blur. A cottage garden does not need stiff, formal layering, but it does need some kind of height rhythm. That rhythm is what helps the eye move through the space and gives the planting its sense of richness. Without that, even a flower-filled garden can feel more messy than magical. Number 4, using color with no relationship. This is another place where people confuse abundance with randomness. Cottage gardens are often colorful. That is part of the appeal. But colorful does not mean every strong color should compete in the same space with no relationship to the next. When color is scattered without any repetition, grouping, or logic, the garden can start to feel noisy. The eye keeps jumping from one thing to the next, and instead of that soft, immersive cottage feeling, you get visual clutter. Now, this does not mean a cottage garden has to be limited to 2 colors or feel tightly controlled. That would miss the point of the style too. But it does usually help when the colors feel like they belong to the same garden. That can come from repeating a few tones, letting certain colors echo each other, or creating pockets where the color feels blended instead of completely random. A cottage garden can absolutely be abundant and expressive, but it still helps when the color has some relationship and some rhythm. Otherwise, the garden starts to feel more loud than romantic.
Number 3. Forgetting paths and access.
This is one of the easiest mistakes to overlook, because cottage gardens are supposed to feel immersive. They are supposed to feel soft and full and planted generously. But that does not mean the garden should feel hard to move through. A good cottage garden usually still has some sense of access, some kind of path, some kind of entry, some kind of structure that lets the space feel inviting instead of overgrown in the wrong way. When people forget that, the garden can start to feel like planting has taken over everything equally. There is no sense of movement, no sense of arrival, no little moment where the viewer or the gardener feels led into the space. And that matters, because paths do more than move people through a garden. They create rhythm, they create pause, they create contrast between planted space and usable space. That is part of what makes a cottage garden feel so charming. It feels full, but it still feels inhabitable. So if the style is starting to feel chaotic, look at whether the garden still has any real path logic left. Number 2. Forcing the style onto a setting that gives it no support. This is a really important point, especially for suburban viewers. A cottage garden can absolutely work in a suburban yard, but it usually works best when it is adapted thoughtfully, not copied literally. A traditional cottage garden look often feels most natural around homes, settings, and garden spaces that already support a softer, layered, older, more enclosed feeling. In a typical suburban setting, you may be working with a newer house style, a wider open lawn, close neighboring homes, more formal lot lines, harder architectural edges. That does not mean the look is impossible. It just means you often need to translate it. Maybe the planting needs a little more structure underneath. Maybe the color needs more discipline. Maybe the path logic matters more. Maybe the garden needs clearer edges so the softness does not just dissolve into the suburban layout. This is where a lot of people struggle. They try to paste a loose cottage garden look directly onto a setting that needs more support, and then they wonder why it looks messy instead of beautiful. A cottage garden can work in suburbia, but usually it works best when the style is interpreted for the setting, not copied without adjustment. Number 1. Having no structure underneath the looseness. This is the master mistake, because all the others feed into this one. A real cottage garden often looks relaxed on the surface because something underneath it is holding the whole thing together. That structure might come from repeated plants, a clear bed shape, a path, a gate or entry moment, shrubs anchoring the planting, a trellis or arbor, a simple color framework, a stronger backbone of height and rhythm. But one way or another, something is giving the looseness a framework. That is the part people often miss. They see the softness, they see the flowers, they see the abundance, but they do not notice the structure underneath that makes all of it feel intentional. When that structure is missing, the planting has nothing to organize itself around, and that is when cottage style starts to slip into chaos. So, if I had to reduce this whole video to one idea, it would be this. A cottage garden can feel loose, it can feel soft, it can feel overflowing, but it still needs an underlying design logic. That is what turns messy into romantic. That is what turns too much into beautiful abundance. And that is what makes the style actually work. So, if you want a simple way to evaluate your own cottage garden ideas, here are a few questions worth asking. Does the garden feel loose or just random? Are plants repeating enough to create rhythm? Is there real height layering through the space? Do the colors feel related, or are they just competing? Is there a path, entry point, or sense of movement? Does the style actually fit the house and setting, or does it need some adaptation? And most importantly, what is holding the whole thing together underneath the softness? Those questions matter because they shift your thinking away from, what else can I squeeze in? And toward a much more useful question. What is making this feel intentional? That is usually where the real cottage garden look begins. Because a cottage garden usually does not work just because it has more flowers. It works because the abundance still has rhythm, the looseness still has structure, and the softness still has some kind of design underneath it. Well, there you have it. I hope this helped you feel more confident about what makes a cottage garden actually work, and what usually makes it fall apart. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep getting your hands dirty. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to Garden Guru, and I'll see you in the next one.